Role-playing, by definition, is the act of imitating the character and behavior of someone different than yourself. In a TTRPG, it's when a player acts like its character. It doesn't have to be with a quirky voice, but it's the idea to make choices like your character will do. And as a DM, I like when players roleplay, because I'm a sucker for story. And there's only story if the players are role-playing. To give you a better idea, let's imagine if the players don't roleplay, they are uninterested in the story. What will happen if Frodo didn't feel anything while carrying the ring to Mordor? It's not like he's not annoyed by carrying the ring, but he only does it because Wizardman said so. Maybe that's a bad example, but I think you get the point now. When I achieve the task of making my players roleplay, I must admit that feels like a movie. And if I want to have my movie in-game night, I have to work for it. And that's exactly what happened the first time I DM'd. My players roleplayed the bare minimum at the table. And I asked myself if they saw the same thing I did. Potential. Potential to make this silly game into something more interesting, more real. These are the things I learned from working my ass off to make my players' role-playing muscles work. As a DM, the absolute first thing you should do is roleplay first. Yes, in the game of D&D, the DM must set the expectations from combat to roleplay. And if the DM doesn't engage with the players won't care about it. I started with only one NPC that had a deep personality. When we started Lost Mines of Fandelver, I took Sildar and started role-playing as she was a real person, with real problems and motivations, and I think my players loved it. Even one of them started a relationship with her. This player moved from role-playing the bare minimum only when the DM presented a decision to one of the peaks of role-playing in a short campaign. And I think it was because I, as the DM, presented the opportunity. The second thing I learned that makes my players roleplay is describing scenes. But it's less about describing things at all and more about describing things in a certain way that makes the moment for peak roleplay. I find that descriptions in written campaigns are a good start. It's more than not actually describing the scene, but that's where it ends for many DMs. I recommend you to take a step forward. Instead of just describing things just from a visual understanding of the map, try going deeper and understanding what this scene means. Let's imagine that your players go into a dungeon. I think the description sounds like this. You enter in a cave no more than 20 feet tall. It smells humid and a bit rancid, and as you walk into it, you hear the echo of your footsteps bouncing from the rock walls. That's actually a pretty fine description. Let's take that step further that I talk about, and imagine that the party is walking down these dungeons because the Thieves Guild is blackmailing them. You enter the cave where the guild told you was the dungeon. It smells rancid. You imagine what could cause that smell. As you walk down the cave, you hear your footsteps bounce on the walls, but not as much as your thoughts, as you question what in the world could be here to make the Thieves Guild cower and send us down this path. That description not only sets a mood, but also expectations about what they're going to fight. And that actually is it. Just pretty good descriptions and roleplay yourself a little bit. Try using NPCs, but not too much, as it can be. You can steal their thunder. So I hope you liked this video, and if you liked this kind of content, please subscribe and leave a comment, as I would love to see what you guys thought. Thank you for watching.